Let's do it.
Okay. Okay.
Do me a favor, take a couple of screenshots as well, Lee, as we're doing this, okay?
Yeah, will do. Okay, I think we should be good on live on YouTube and live on Zoom. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. We are coming to you live from India today, and my name is Lee. I'm going to turn my camera off in just a moment so we can focus on all of our guests who are streaming live from all over India and turn it over to Ashish. But very quickly, if you've joined us on Zoom, we have the Q&A box available for you, and we welcome your questions. Please feel free to send those in, and we will keep an eye on the question box for all of you. And if you're live on YouTube, we'll keep an eye over there for questions as well. And we do hope that you enjoy our presentation. We're recording it all, so we'll be able to give you access to this live stream later. But that's it for me. I'll be standing by watching. So let me now turn it over to our host today, Ashish Sangrajka, president of Big Five Tours and Expeditions. So Ashish, over to you.
Thanks so much, Lee. This is a really special day. I've been so excited about this day. I couldn't sleep all night. So hello to fellow YouTubers. Hello to everybody on Zoom. I'm so glad you could join us. For the first time ever, Big Five TV is streaming live from India. You can see a couple of really cool faces here. So you've got my associate Mohan from Delhi. Mohan, just give a wave. So he's there. You've got Harsh with the red shirt in Mumbai, in the streets of Mumbai. You've got Somesh as well, so in Delhi as well. So Somesh is there. And then you can't see him right now, but Abhijit is in Kolkata right now. And Abhijit is actually going to be showing us some really cool things as well. So we're going to go possibly a little bit past an hour right now. So if you need to drop off the stream, that's okay. Come on back. But this is an exciting day. India's border is opening soon. And in anticipation of that, we want to show you just how alive the country is. So before we jump into this stream, let's get the elephant out of the room, no pun intended. So Mohan, over to you. Just if you can unmute yourself and just share with us what's the latest. Let's talk about the COVID situation in India and where India has come. So let's talk about that. He's just got to unmute. There we go.
Yeah, thank you, Ashish. Welcome everyone. So what I want to say is that we've been making some steady progress over the last 3 to 4 months. We came out of a second wave somewhere in the month of July, and we've made good progress in terms of the vaccination numbers in the country. And if I am to give you a figure, I would say that 20% of India's population is totally vaccinated. And if I have to give you a precise number, that's over 250 million people. But we've made, like I said, good progress on that front, and we've somehow, I would say, defied the third wave, and the number of cases are much lower today across the country, and the situation is very stable. That's what I'd like to say, and that's one of the reasons that the government of India has also taken the step of opening our borders for international tourists from 15th of November. So yeah, we are looking at a positive phase in our country, and we are hoping that things will only get better from here. Yeah, that's what I have to say, Ashish.
Oh, thanks so much, Mohan. So look, that's fantastic. And to put it in perspective, those of you, some of you are from different countries. So 250 million people, the population of the United States is just over 300 million. So 20% seems like one number, but 250 million is a pretty impressive number. So now that we've got that in, and again, what we're talking about is celebrating the border opening soon and just anticipating it, because it's been a long stretch. And India, as you can see, India is our heritage. It's where everybody you see on here, we're all of Indian descent. So we claim our ancestral roots to India in some form, and we wanted to bring this live stream to you to show you. And this is live TV. Nothing you see here is pre-recorded. So a camera may cut off or come back on, a voice may cut out. That's the beauty of live TV. That's the beauty of Big Five TV. We're not pre-recording anything. We're not putting a glamour photo on anything. We are showing you live as it's happening. So First things first, we're going to get started. We're going to take you guys to Mumbai, to Harsh, the handsome gentleman there that you see with the red shirt. Harsh is going to take us to Mumbai. So Harsh, I'm going to hand it over to you. Take us on a journey. Tell us what you're looking at. I know you got something really special planned for us.
Hey, Ashish. Firstly, welcome to Bombay, all of you. Ashish, thank you for the kind introduction, especially calling me handsome. If it was my father, he always says that, Harsh, you have a great face for radio. I think you should meet you more often, right? But welcome to Mumbai, guys. I know we're doing two cities, Bombay and Kolkata, and it's quite poetic that we start with Bombay because Bombay is called the Urbs Primus Diendis, or the first city of India, as the British called it. So it's almost poetic that we're starting here. Where I'm standing today is, and I want to show you where we are right now is by the coast. You can see the sea, and beyond you can see the Gateway of India. And the reason why I said that I should start with the sea is because when you look at the history of Bombay, the sea plays a critical role, in it, because the original people here were fisherfolk community when these used to be just an isolated set of islands. Right. And the fisherfolk community, is called the Kohlis, and they're the original people. And they're very, very interesting people, to say the least. And I want to say a little about the indigenous folks is because, the men actually go out to fish after that, drink like a fish. The women, and while it's a patriarchal community, it's very interesting because the women take care of the finances, right? So that's why it's there's a certain sort of liberal community feeling to it, but they are like taskmasters and they're extremely feisty women, right? The Kohli folks, and they rarely smile. So if they smile at you, I always tell people and my guests that come and go play the lottery because, yeah. So while we walk through, I'm going towards the Gateway of India. And the Gateway of India, as you can see in the background, was where, 9 out of 10 people that came into this country actually came in from right here, right? As you can see, the Gateway of India, but it wasn't always built what you see right now. Gateway of India used to be these hutmen came here. Ever since
As I said, we're on live TV right now, so the audio does cut in and out, as you can see. So, Harsh, can you hear us okay now?
I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So as you all can see, you can see the Gateway of India. The Gateway of India is essentially, as I told you, was where 9 out of 10 people came in, and the king and the queen, that's, Queen Mary and King George V came here in 1911, but this is not what they were welcomed to. They were actually welcomed to a very different site. And this is probably a site that was created in plaster of Paris, which was a structure, was a temporary structure, was actually the most photographed in India. Any guess what building I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, the building looks amazing. I mean, you guys can all see it. By the way, those of you watching on YouTube, those of you watching on Zoom, you can see the building right in front of him, and you can see, Harsh, what time is it there right now?
Yeah, so this building wasn't what it looked like right now. It actually looked like something very different, which is actually akin to a structure that looked like the Paris structure existed. The Taj Mahal sort of a structure existed, and then it was down by the Queen structure, which is the Gateway of India. So it's a very, very important structure that you see in front. In fact, it is one of the insignias of, the Mumbai Tourism Departmental Corporation, right? Let me just take a 180-degree turn right in front of you and show you another structure that some of y'all would have stayed in, and some of y'all,
wow.
Do you see that, right? That is the Taj Mahal and of the Tata family. Good news is the Air India has just been acquired by them, right? This business family. So this you can see is the Taj Mahal Tower, the first Taj where we built in tree. Actually, right. So you can see now there are a lot of urban legends surrounding this place, and one of them, and that's the beauty about folkloric stories, right? They might not be true, but they definitely make for wonderful stories. And one such story goes about, Tata, and the reason he built the Taj Mahal Tower. And the reason he built it is very interesting because the story goes back to the time when, Jamshedji Nasirvanji Tata was invited to the Watson's Hotel, which is a hotel not too far away from here. It was a beautiful hotel, but it had a European-only policy. So when he tried to enter it, he was told to bugger off, right? And he was so pissed off because it was written dogs and Indians not allowed. Now, as I said, it's an urban legend. Urban legend makes for wonderful stories. So dogs and Indians weren't allowed. Tata was incredibly pissed off. So he came out and he said, I'm going to build a hotel that's going to be inclusive and exclusive at the same time. Inclusive because it's going to allow everyone, and exclusive because it's going to be one of the first hotels that has a laundry, that has, a hammam, right? So, and of course, the first bar of India was here, which we're going to go and, see it. So it had all the, necessities, luxury necessities that were needed back then. Today, the Taj Mahal Hotel sees nearly about, 1,500 to 2,000 footfalls every single day. The Watson's Hotel, which, Tata wasn't allowed into, unfortunately, is part of the 50 most endangered buildings, in the country. So if you've heard of karma being a bitch, right, that is a clear example. Okay, so you can see the Taj Mahal right in front of you, and it's ready for, foreign tourists, now from the 15th of November, actually 15th of October for the charters, and of course, after that, 15th of November for everybody else who's coming in. Here, besides, used to be the Sea Green Hotel, which was then converted into, the tower wing. So you can see, the hotel completely lit up for us also because it's, Navratri. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk inside the Taj Mahal Hotel and take you through the beautiful lobby. I'm sure some of you all have visited, but for the uninitiated, it's one of the premium hotels within Mumbai. And as I said, within the Taj portfolio, it's, their premium, their first hotel. And I want to show you and tell you about a story that has an American significance to, Mumbai and goes back to the time of American prohibition. What is the story? I'm just going to walk you through and show you. Uh, just one moment.
Yeah, and as he's going through, as you can see, again, being on live TV, he's walking through, but you can just see the vibrance around the hotel. This is one of the most famous landmarks in Mumbai. I personally love staying here as well. But in we go. So Harsh, yeah, by all means, I can't wait to hear this story. And before he jumps into this, I think we have to share with everybody. Harsh, what time is it there right now?
Oh. 10, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so 10 past 10, but the city is still buzzing as usual. I think Bombay is the party city, and we're walking through right now. You can see the lobby, but what's interesting about the lobby is that's our welcome. I think a lot of our foreign tourists get this lovely welcome from them. That's the concierge, that's Sandeep there. Anything that you want to do in terms of tour experience, Sandeep is the man to go to. But the beauty is that you can see this beautiful painting right here in the lobby is done by one of the greatest artists that India had seen called Maqbul Fida Hussain or MF Hussain. And one of his characteristics used to always be the horse. So you can see right there, there's a structure that's with the horse, right? That is, MF Hussein's painting. But right now, where I'm going towards is a very interesting place. Also, why the Taj is very often kind of met by people.
Oh, what just happened? Hang on, sorry about that. Just need to mute one time. Okay, perfect. Harsh, let's come back to you. Come right back to you. Go ahead.
Right now, you can clearly see Bombay's first license. If you see the license number at the Harbour Bar, it was 0001. And we're standing on the Harbour Bar. Very, very interesting story about the Harbour Bar. It goes back to the American prohibition.
Well, Harsh, if we can, Harsh, if we can stop you for a second. If we can stop you for a second, Harsh. There's all of you watching, obviously we have it's a live stream, so live TV. So Harsh's signal is cutting in and out, so we can't hear him too clearly right now. We'll wait for him to get reset again, and then we can go from there. So in the meantime, as you may have heard, just as we're talking, it was 10 past 10 was where he was, right? So 10 past 10 was
Can you see me now?
Yep. So we're just gonna figure out, Harsh, if you can connect to the Wi-Fi at Taj, we can hear you much better if you can do that. So we'll just wait for him to do that.
Okay, I'm not yet connected in, but I can. But I'm at the Harbour Bar right now, and I'm going to tell you a story before I enter the bar, so that you all can just come to know about the story as I speak. So the Harbour Bar is, started in 1933. was the first bar. And in 1933, you go back in time, that was the time of the American prohibition got lifted. And there were two American soldiers that had come down, and they were so ecstatic that the American prohibition was lifted that they came down towards the bar and said, "Hey, man."
Oh, we lost him again. So again, beauty of live TV. So we lost him again. So I'll tell you what, let's do this just until we get him back. So Harsh, we just lost you again. I think maybe if you can connect to the Wi-Fi would be good.
Yeah, let me do that. Let me just connect to the Wi-Fi and come back. Yeah.
Perfect, no problem. So in the meantime, let's come back. Actually, I'm going to shift gears really quickly. And Mohan, you're sitting in Delhi right now. You're looking at Mumbai. Tell me, what do you think? What are your thoughts on what you're seeing from the Taj and whatnot? As somebody sitting, half a country away.
I'm actually very excited to see Mumbai. I haven't been there in the last 18 months. That's one of the places that I have not been to. I've been to several other places, but somehow not to Mumbai. And it's quite exciting to see people at the gateway, people at the Taj. Yes, of course, the crowds are not, as they used to be. But I suppose it's also, past 10 o'clock, so there are not much people. But yes, I'm quite excited to see a lit up Taj. And the fact that the Tatas have recently acquired Air India, which is great news, and I think we're going to see some great improvements in the flying experience, traveling Air India domestically and internationally both. So I think things are falling in place. That's what I think.
What one can only hope. One can hope. That's the key. So I'm going to change gears. I see Subhankarji just joined us as well, so I'll come back to him in a bit as well. But Avijit, I'm going to ask you to unmute for just 1 second because it's so lively in right now in Kolkata. So we're going to change gears to Kolkata. So Avijit, tell us what you're looking at.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you great.
Because it's very crowded and it's crazy. It's very noisy. The city is absolutely alive. What you can see right in front of you is one of the top 10 puja pandals of the city, and usually that's how it maintains its standards. It's always in the top 10 or top 15 of the best pujas in the city. I am not far away from home. I am in South Calcutta, and this is the Badisha Club Puja Pandal, one of the top 10 pujas in the city, and definitely one of the top 5 in South Calcutta. Now, the interesting thing about this, of course, you can see the liveliness of the pandal and people really thronging on the streets, even past 10 o'clock, with their masks and hand sanitizers in their pockets. And this is a time for families to come together in Calcutta. This is basically the Christmas for Calcutta and the Christmas for Bengalis, right? Now the thing is, I cannot go absolutely close to the goddess site because as per COVID protocols laid by the Calcutta High Court, you cannot go right in front. So what I've done is yesterday, I went around and took some close-up shots with my zoom camera lens. So let me try and share it on the screen because this Puja Pandal it's definitely raised an interest among people, and I'm going to come to that. First, let me share the screen, and in between, if Harsh wants to say something, if he wants to carry on, I'm going to share the screen and follow up in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so go ahead and just share your screen to the picture, and then Harsh, I'm going to come right back to you in a second as well.
Sure,
absolutely. We're going to show that as well. But Harsh, what we'll do, while Avijit is figuring out to show those pictures, because I saw some of them that looked amazing.
Ashish, the thing is, it's showing only the host can share.
Yeah, so what we'll do is afterwards, when we do the recording, send the recording to we'll share the pictures then. So no problem at all. So it's okay. I'm gonna mute you for a second now, Avijit.
Sure.
Harsh, let's come back to you. Let's come back to you and let's talk about what we're looking at.
Okay.
You're back on track.
So can you guys hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. So
okay, wonderful. So sorry for the technical snag, but right now, as you can see, we're right outside the Harbour Bar. That's Mumbai's first licensed bar, right? And there's a very interesting story about it, which goes to the American prohibition. And the story dates back to the time when, the American prohibition was lifted. There were two, American sailors who had come down, and they said, "Tell the American prohibition is lifted. We need to get a drink. why don't we just go to the bar that's around the corner? So they came down to the Taj Mahal, to the harbor bar, asked for a drink, right? And when they were going to get a drink, right, they asked the bartender to make a drink for them, right? And the bartender, put up a very interesting cocktail for the guests, right? And did some, theatrics along with flaming and stuff. And then they had the drink, and they loved the drink so much, right, that they asked the bartender, saying, "There's a fantastic drink," right? So the bartender said, "Listen, I made this customized drink for you. What do I name it?" So he said, "Why don't you name the drink that that signifies the bar?" And that's when the drink that came about was called From the Harbor since 1933, right? So that's the drink that's related to the American Prohibition. As you're walking through, you can see the first licensed bar of Bombay right now, and we have a special drink actually for you, which is right here. You can see. So this is the theatrics I was telling you about, right? All right. Thank you. Right, cheers, guys. Okay, that's wonderful. So I'm going to get on the drink a little later, right? Because otherwise I'm going to just start slurring. So I'm just going to walk across and finish my little walk around the Taj. So where we're going in, we were at the Tower lobby, and now we're going down towards, the palace wing, and it's a beautiful walk, right? And actually you meet quite a few celebrities on the way, including people such as Oprah Winfrey, who probably came out smiling, right, out of this place right here. So I'm just going to show you a few photographs of various celebrities that have lived here and called Taj their home. Right here, you can see ex-president. You can see the Beatles, Yoko Ono, right? V.S. Naipaul, Alfred Hitchcock, right around the corner, right? You have all these various celebrities that have lived here, including Barack Obama. When India won the Cricket World Cup in 2011, for the shoot that had happened right in front of the Taj. Justin Trudeau was here. So you can see all the various celebrities that have lived here. I mean, you name it, and the Taj Mahal has seen it right through its doors. We're walking right now through and going towards, the palace, the palace wing, as they call it, here, which was actually the original, or the old wing, built in 1903. And we're walking past the grand stair bust of, the philanthropist, the Parsi philanthropist, also, the one who started Tata and Sons was Jamshedji Nasirbanji Tata, right? He saw this being built, and the next year he passed on, but he saw his labor of love. In front of you.
Just incredible.
Right here. Yeah, so you can see his bust right here. But what's beautiful is, if you look up, I think it's the most stunning, view you get off the tower, right? I think it's one of the most gorgeous hotels in the city. And of course, the premium hotels that I've told you right here. So on that note, I'm going to be, taking a leave. And generally, Bombay is the party city. But today, I think Kolkata is having a party of its own. So I'm going to pass on and send you guys across towards either Cal or Delhi, where the other action.
We're going to go to Delhi.
You guys back.
Harsh, we're going to
You're going to go to Delhi? Okay.
Yeah,
Delhi
we're going to come
always
back.
a party city. So yeah.
Yeah, Harsh, we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you in a bit as well. Check in, but I want to switch over to Somesh, who's in Delhi right now. So Somesh, I feel like a news correspondent right now with some major news network.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Somesh, tell us what you're seeing.
Yeah, this is one of the Puja Pandal in Delhi, and it's been buzzing all around. I'll just switch on, turn off my camera there. See the crowd, the big crowd here enjoying the musical concert. I think there should be
मैं इतनी देर से देख नहीं रहा। अच्छा, इसके बाद में जब सेकंड टर्म में आऊंगा तो आप सभी के लिए ऐसा सॉलिड गाना पेश करूंगा, आप सभी को डांस करना पड़ेगा। ठीक है? ओके, ठीक है। आइए तुहिना जी को मैं फिर से बुलाता हूँ। तब तक मैं थोड़ा सा लेट हो गया था, बट जल्दी जल्दी कर लिया, बट इसके बाद आ रहा हूँ धमाका लेकर सब लोग तैयार रहिएगा प्लीज।
how people are celebrating the puja here in Delhi.
Somesh, you're at a full concert, looks like. We can't hear you, but we can hear everybody else there. So,
Ashish, can I come in for a second?
yeah, by all means, please.
So, if I heard correctly, Somesh's wife Tuhina is on the stage. Is that right, Somesh?
Yes, she is there with her one of her co-singer, male singer.
So
His
she is
name
also
is Miranga, yeah.
singing today. She's singing today at the Puja Pandal.
Wow. Wow. No, just amazing. I mean, and I mean, just looking at the Ferris wheel behind you and everything as well, Somesh. Wow.
I am just walking slowly towards the puja pandal. The concert is going on other side of the puja. So this is how it is.
Just amazing. So I'm just going to mute Somesh for a second because he's just walking up there. I'm going to unmute him again in a second so you can see, but I want you to just take in what he's seeing. And we're going to go to Subankar ji in a second as well, so he can show you what he's looking at. But just see, remember how Avijit was talking about getting close to the deities, getting close to it. Now see here. Now I'm going to put Somesh, I'm going to unmute you again. I know it's going to be a bit loud, but Mohan, if you want to chime in and just help explain what Somesh is looking at, that'll be great too. So I'm going to just unmute you now. I'll just ask
I'll do that while Somesh is panning the camera towards the deity. So these 10 days of festivities are dedicated to the mother goddess Durga, and as you can see, the main deity that you see in the center is her, and along with her children Ganesha. So it's 10 days of celebration, and today is actually the 8th day, and it culminates on the 10th day, which is day after tomorrow. It's celebrated in big way in Calcutta, but the Bengali community lives across India and in Delhi too. So they gather, and they kind of organize this. So you can see the how they have decorated this whole place, and also you can see that there are restrictions that have been imposed, and it is being followed in a very disciplined way. So only a certain number of people are allowed into the pandal. Excuse me. So yeah, it's quite spread out. There is definitely distancing that I can see here, as opposed to the streets in Calcutta, which is another scenario altogether. So yeah, it's an amazing feel. Families come out together, celebrate. There's a lot of food being cooked back home, and offerings that are being made to the goddess. So yeah, it's one of the best times to be actually in India, as well. So yeah, these 10 days of celebration are a great time to travel in India, anywhere in India for that matter, especially if you're in a big city like Calcutta or Delhi or Mumbai. So yeah, Somesh, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, Somesh, unmute. I know it's a bit loud there, but go ahead, unmute and tell us anything else you want to share, by all means. Let's see if he can unmute.
I think
yeah. I just like to add here, we have taken all precautions here to really make the puja happen safely. We have a security guard on the gate with issuing a barcode to every individual who is fully vaccinated, and they are being allowed inside.
Okay.
So that's the protocol we have maintained here.
Oh, fantastic. No, that's great. So I'm going to switch gears a bit now. Subankar ji, can you hear us? I'm going to unmute you if you can hear us, and just explain what you're looking at as well. So I'm just going to put you on. So if you can just unmute your camera, Subankar ji, so we can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Yes, if you can explain to us what's being set up there, that'll be great. You're in Kolkata as well.
Okay, I am just in front of the house of the Chandra family, which is one of the oldest families that celebrate the Durga Puja. Quite opposite to what Avijit has just shown you, crowded and very gorgeous installations. Whereas in the traditional house, which is mostly the neoclassical style of architecture, and the building itself is a very beautiful red brick building, which is a very essential mark of the colonial era. This house is also built in the early 19th century, and the family that they worship here for last about 200 years. And you can see the inside the inside the temple, which they are now preparing for the big festival, which is coming on this at around 11:30. They will start the puja, and you can see the image here. Unlike the most of the pandals, the statue of the gods here are different. Here, Ma Durga is on the lap of Shiva. Here is a very interesting Bengali folklore, considering Durga as the mother and Shiva as the father. So this is actually a family reunion, sort of. So Durga comes with her husband Shiva, her children Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kartik, and Ganesh. Now, in different part of India, these all different deities are worshipped as a prime god.
Subankarji, we just lost your voice. We need to have you unmute again. Let's see. We'll just have you unmute again, so that way we can hear you again. Let's see. And while we're waiting,
as the god of war, and they have separate temples for Kartik. Ganesh is celebrated everywhere. Lakshmi has her temples in different parts. Saraswati does not have much temples except in a few places in Rajasthan, where she is seen as a wife of Brahma, whereas here she is seen as a daughter of Durga. And here you can see Saraswati stands left to goddess Durga. And in this house, the celebration starts, actually it's a 10-day celebration. And it's in the rest of India, it is called Navaratri because it is 10 days, but 9 nights. In 9 nights, there are 9 implications, and the goddess comes in 9 different forms. It is the biggest celebration of womanhood, you can say. You can say that this is the biggest celebration of womanhood.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. We're Sobankarji, we're going to come back to you when the puja is starting a bit more. So we're going to come back.
Okay, okay.
So that'll be them. But let's switch over to Harsh. You're in a new location now. Those of you who are watching on Zoom, and if you're watching on Zoom, YouTube, you may not have seen it, but on Zoom, you would have seen it. You would have seen the scenery moving very quickly for Harsh. He was on the back of a motorbike to get to a new location. So Harsh, I'll back over to you to tell us what you're looking at now.
Hey, so I'm going to turn around and show it to you. I think that'll be a better view if I'm going to walk on the opposite side and show it to you. I think the magnificence of this building is best viewed from a distance, right? Can you all see it now?
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah. So you're actually standing in front of the Asiatic Society of Mumbai, which used to be the town hall. And this has seen a lot of, so when you look at education system in India, you know, the Literary Society of Mumbai played a critical role in terms of ensuring that the guardian and ward relationships between the Indian and the British was kind of maintained. And what I mean by that is, you know, earlier the British used to have a guardian and ward relationship, but the idea was that education was integral in order to kind of, you know, bring parity between the Indians. And while at one point in time the British opposed it, there were a few people just like Mr. Jonathan Duncan and of course Lord Montserrat Elphinstone who worked towards educating the gentry within the country. And the Asiatic Society, as you can see, is a very, very important society in Bombay right now. You want to learn anything about the city, they have a lot of archival history that exists. In fact, a very interesting thing is that Dante's Divine Comedy, which is one of the, you know, original pieces, right, still exists within this Asiatic Society. In fact, Mussolini had made an offer of $1 million to get it. But we just shook his hands and said that we don't like your politics, right? Which is why we are not going to give it to you, right? So basically, this still has Dante's Divine Comedy inside it. But this place has done a lot of historic moments that's had, and a lot of actually funny moments as well. You know, I'm going to start walking towards it and showing it to you much closer, right, as we go. So when India got independence, actually not the first war of independence was fought in 1857, the Queen's decree that now India is no longer under the East India Company, but is under the Queen was actually, said here by the governor then. Another very interesting story is that Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founding father of Pakistan, and this might be a little controversial as I say it, right? He was waiting here, he had just applied for, being part of the Muslim League and, contesting elections. And his wife, he was married to Ratanbai Jinnah, was a Parsi lady. And she actually came with ham sandwiches to him right here. And he said, are you serious that you're bringing ham sandwiches to a Muslim man who's standing for elections? And she took her car and she went away, right? When Gandhi passed away, his ashes were actually kept out here. The matriculation examination, that's the first metric examination happened right here. In fact, even, when you look at the fact that a lot of social, cultural, stuff that's, taken place has taken place within it. But if you look behind this building, you would be actually able to see where Bombay was started. In fact, one of our tours called Bombay Zero starts from right here that talks about the formation of the city. And right in front of you that you're seeing the garden is called the Honumen Circle Garden. And this is where bales of cotton, opium, etc. used to come here and a lot of trade used to happen. Because behind this is where the docks were. And the Bombay docks played such an important role was because we had the best shipbuilders in the country, including people like Lavji Nasirbanji Wadia, right? And he, there's a very interesting story about the docks of Bombay. Is there is a ship that was built by an Indian called HMS Minden, and the American national anthem, which is a star-spangled banner, was actually written on top of a ship that was built by an Indian, right? Unfortunately, he never got his due. And there was, so much racism at that point in time that he had to write on one of his ships, HMS Cornwallis, that this ship was built by a goddamn black fellow. So it's a very interesting story of the Bombay docks. Unfortunately, we have no access to it right now because it's under the, this is the Western Naval Headquarters of the Western Naval Command. But in front of it, you can see Honumen Circle is what used to be called the Bombay Green, where a lot of trade used to take place owing to its proximity towards the dock. So where we are right now is a very, very beautiful place. And historically, of course, it's got a lot of relevance. But you also see a lot of photo shoots, right? When people get married, a lot of photo shoots actually happen here. So if you come on an ideal Sunday morning, you'd see a lot of people dressed in gowns, dressed in their wedding vests and just walking around, and hundreds of photographers would be here just taking photographs from them. So it's also got a lot of pop culture reference, to us. And Honumen Circle Garden right in front, and Honumen Circle was actually the first business district of Bombay, right? I mean, I could talk a lot about this place. It's nearly about a 1.5-hour walk, but I'll leave you to it because I know that you have to go and check out, Calcutta too. So I'm going to leave you to it and go into my next destination.
All right, fantastic. Enjoy it. Be safe on the scooter as well. So we'll come to Abhijit. And you guys heard Harsh. He was obviously was sharing the quotes from some of the, whether it's the colonies or whatnot. And obviously language can be, the strong, not strong. And he's illustrating a very important point as to when India's true independence really was. We see what's in the books and they talk about one independence, but there's actually, we have to go back in history to see the whole thing. So let's switch gears and let's come over back to you, Abhijit. Let's come to you. And if you want to start walking a little bit, Abhijit, maybe if you want to.
Ashish, before I move on from this pandal to the next one. Actually, it would be important for me to explain this pandal, the theme of this pandal, which is very interesting. So if I could share the photo, the close-up photo I had taken yesterday, if there's any way to share the photo, because this is a very interesting.
This format is going to be a bit difficult, but what we'll do is afterwards we'll post it up afterwards.
Okay. So let me just explain to you about this, and you can post the photo later on, which Mohan already has, and I can email it to you as well. So I'm just going to go close up 5 seconds and then move on, because they're not going to allow me more than 5 seconds to the closest I can. And then I'm going to move on, and as I walk, I'm going to talk about the theme of this pandal, and then I'll be walking to the next. So let me just go just for 5 seconds into the crowd, to the best I can, to the closest I can. All right, so it's difficult to make out, but when you share the close-up of the photo later on, people will be able to understand what I'm saying. Now, the thing is, this is a very, very different kind of a puja setup of this pandal compared to any puja happening anywhere else. What's happened is they're basically showing. Now I have to go out from here, and I've just got to explain to you. Basically, what they're trying to show in that is that there's this mother with her 4 children, 2 sons, 2 little sons, 2 little daughters, and she is in a cage. Basically, it's a containment or a cage by the side of a highway with milestones on it. So basically, it's the theme of this puja is Bhager Ma, which is the divided mother, or the so basically what this puja is trying to explain is, it's a little political, so it's a little controversial. I'm not going to take any sides, but basically they're trying to show there's been some new laws to prove your citizenship in this country by the central government, and this state government has completely opposed that because and so basically it's trying to show how a mother with 4 little kids has become homeless on the border of India, being trying to prove her citizenship to the government, and she's been divided and homeless overnight. So it's got a political connotations, and hence that's why this puja has been recognized by this state government as one of the best top 10 in this year. Of course, because the state government, of course, is not agreeable to the way the central government has been trying to prove people's citizenships. So it's basically, when you share the close-up photo later on at the end of this with people, they'll be able to understand what I am trying to say. So it's a very different kind of puja that they've done in that pandal, where they've done away with the asur or the devil. There is no devil in that puja pandal. Unlike, of course, the common themed pujas. In fact, I'm going to the next one, which is around 7 to 10 minutes walk from here, and then you will get an idea, of course, the typical asur or the devil that the goddess is trying to defeat, the goddess Durga is trying to defeat. But yes, what makes the pujas of Calcutta interesting year by year is the theme of the pujas, right from climate change and global warming to the harsh decisions of state governments or central governments to the need of sanitation in the neighborhood. So they all pick up social issues and try to make themes out of that and replicate the puja according to the theme. So it's not just about the artistry of the puja and the creativity, which of course is very important, but it's also about trying to send social messages, political messages, and the interesting thing, of course, is that India actually, although it's a country, it's really a continent actually, because we've got communities from everywhere. We've got descendants of Portuguese in Goa, to the Anglo-Indians, to the Chinese in Calcutta. We've got so many ghetto communities. So really, India is not just a country, but a continent in itself. And as I'm going through the sea of people to the next pandal here, live from South Calcutta here. So yes, that was one interesting puja theme of that pandal. That's why I was hanging around there. But yes, Ashish or Mohan, if you can share the close-up of that photograph of that puja at the end, that would be great. So people will get a better idea. Now, before talking, I'm going to quickly cross the road. And
yeah, we have to make sure you get the other way. So I'm going to mute you for a second, Abhijit, just for 1 second. I'll bring you right back, okay?
Yes.
So just to explain, as you see, you see Abhijit is walking through, and this is again, to reiterate, those of you just joining us, I see more of you joining us right now as well, on YouTube and on Zoom. So, part of this, you could see just the fact of how alive, as he said, South Kolkata, you saw how many people were there in Mumbai as well. This is the beauty of India. A lot of people look at it and say, wow, there's so many people. Over 1 billion people live in one country. When you start
Ashish, can I come in for a second?
Sorry. Yeah, by all means, please.
Okay, so what I want to add to what Abhijit said is also, it's about expressing yourself. And I think the time of puja in Bengal, in Calcutta, is about expressing themselves creatively, socially. Like you said, that people pick up they could pick up a controversial subject as the one that he was trying to, explain. So it's a time to express yourself in many ways. And actually, to add a little humor to the whole thing, we also have a pandal in Calcutta, which is basically a replica of the Burj Al Khalifa in Dubai. And there is a laser show happening there, and it's drawing a lot of crowds. So because that was happening, the government issued an order and told the club that they should stop the laser show because it's attracting a lot of people and it's kind of leading to crowding. So they stopped it, and they stopped it. So some people are not very happy because they could not take the pictures of the laser show. But no, it's a time of expression. So yeah, I mean, it might have sounded a little intense what Avijit was trying to explain, but it's all part of life.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And see, this is why we, when we did this is why we were really looking at this the right way, to basically say, to start to do this live stream in India, to basically do this live stream in India, just because of the fact that they, as Avijit was saying, that India is more like a continent than a country. You've got influences from everywhere in one place. So to have our first live stream in Asia be here is very special. I have to tell you, I didn't sleep much last night because I was so excited about today. And I just moved over to Harsh's video because he is somewhere really cool. So Harsh, I gotta come back to you. Can you talk about where you are right now?
Yeah, so I was listening to Avijit, and where he was kind of reminded me about Ganesh Chaturthi in Bombay. And we have a 10-day festivities where the city is on steroids, right? It goes completely mental. What you can see, in Bombay is about 21 million people, and it's like one big street party that goes on here. So if you guys are here between September and early October, that's one of the times that I definitely, or sometimes in August, depending on the Marathi almanac, which is the local calendar, right? Depending on that, you should come here because it's equally buzzing. But where I am right now, you can see, talking about party and streets. This is the Victoria Terminus railway station. It'll remind you of the St. Pancras in London, right? I think it's as beautiful. And the only reason probably St. Pancras it might be a little better than Victoria Terminus is because it's got a champagne bar and we don't, right? That's probably the only reason. Otherwise, it's as pretty. You can see it's completely lit up. It's beautiful. This took about 10 years to build, between 1878 to 1888. And Frederick William Stevens used to be here. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but the story of Mumbai and how it gets its name is through the goddess Mumba Devi, who is the patron goddess of the original inhabitants of Mumbai, who are the fisher folk community, right? And it is believed that the original statue used to exist here. And Mumbai used to be a fortified city. The fort walls used to end here. And this was actually outside the fort walls, right? And when the fort walls were broken down, right, that time this structure was built. Now, what's interesting also was that the first train that ever left Asia left from here in 1853, right, which is way before this structure was built. But the station used to exist here, right? So 1853, where Lady Falkland was there, and it was, and Mr. Falkland was the governor then of Bombay. He was out in such an historic moment. He was out hunting, right? And he missed that entire thing of, this 40-kilometer journey that took place from here, right, to Thana, which is about 40 kilometers away, right, which was the first journey in Asia ever undertaken. And the governor actually missed it because he preferred hunting. But his wife was here, and she documented it in her stories. And she said it was, quite an experience to be able to see so many people go there and really enjoy themselves. And the next day, a Parsi philanthropic actually took a joyride where he booked the entire train for his family and friends and did the same journey, right, of 40 kilometers, the next day. So it was a monumentous occasion, because in India, after that, today we have the most complex train network in the world. But to realize it all started here, right here in front, is quite a privilege to be a part of, right? What you see right now in front is the municipal corporation building, which is called the Erms Primesti Indus. So any administrative work that happens within Bombay actually happens right here. But what's interesting is this place used to be actually a very morbid area first, is because here is where people used to be hanged around this area. It was called Fasi Talao, right? And that at that point in time, as morbid as it sounds, right, at that point in time, that was the only entertainment that people had. So people would actually throng together here, see the hanging taking place around this area. And then there's the oldest restaurant in Bombay, which is on the other side there. People would basically see a hanging here and then go hang out there, right? So as morbid as it sounds, I'm just going to go closer And pardon me, I might just I'm going to be crossing the road, or in India, as we say, that I'm going to partake in some, adventure sport. Okay. I am just moving from one place to another, and you can see, I don't know if you can see how beautiful the structure is.
Very much we can see it very clearly. It looks
Right. It is fantastic, right? And what's interesting about the structure is that it only gets prettier as you start getting closer to it. Another very interesting story is right below you can see the clock tower there. Right below that, there's a little place there, if you can see, which has got an empty place there. Now, this is called the Victoria Terminus railway station, and this area that you see there used to have a 8 feet statue of Queen Victoria that unfortunately, was robbed, and no one knows where the hell it is, right? Beautiful structures. This is actually part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. But what's interesting is that, you can see, I don't know if you can spot it, but if you look on the first floor, right here where my finger is, you can actually see a peacock that's been drawn. So it's one of the most beautiful structures, and the symmetry is incredibly palpable, right? I'm going to try and go inside. The thing is that these days the government has only allowed people who are doubly vaccinated, and the Maharashtra government has done a great job when it comes to the putting the COVID numbers down. Despite the number of people that we have and how busy we are, we actually have had the numbers very, very down compared to other cities within the country during the wave. But you can see the Aesop fables. You can see beautiful beautiful work of various animals right here. Can you all see it?
Yeah, it looks amazing. Absolutely looks amazing. Looking up close, it looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, so you can see that there is gargoyles around. You can see a wolf that's holding on to a right here, if you notice, right, this one, it's a wolf that's actually got a monitor lizard in its mouth. So it's got such amazing structures. But this place was also a part of the 2008 attack. 2000 terrorist attacks that took place here. We are entering the train station. So what you see here is Doric columns, which are stunning, right? And you can see how beautiful the railway station is. I think this is a part of all our tours, right? You can see how stunning each of the small miniature motifs are. But this was part of the gruesome terrorist attack that took place, in Bombay, and we had nearly about 167 casualties here. But what you see here is the train station, and what's interesting is I wanted to see how big the fans are. Right? That itself is quite something, right? Massive. Okay. Now, I know before the cops catch me, I'm just going to show you a few things that we can catch up and just show around the entire train station. And this is basically what we call the lifeline of Mumbai, right? Right here. And if you see here, if you notice here, there's a small hole here that is actually takes you back in time during the 2008 attacks. One of the bullets were actually shot right here. So you can see the Victoria Terminus railway station, one of the premium railway stations, one of the first railway stations to start a train here in 1853 that started the most complex train network. Nearly about 9 million people use the train services every single day in Mumbai. So when, people don't get angry for most things in the city, but you stop the train and you have a riot on your hand, right? Nothing else gets us more motivational, politically charged, right, than banning the trains for us, right? So this is totally the lifeline of this city. I'm moving ahead and showing you some of the images. You can see how beautifully lit they are. And on that note, I could blabber here for another hour, but I think you have other people.
Well, we're going to go back over to Avijit, actually. He's somewhere else now. I'm going to switch back over to Avijit. So Avijit, over to you, my friend. You can share with us
Ashish, I saw some pictures of food, and I think Avijit was there. But anyway, I think he's now closer to another panda.
He's closer somewhere else. So Avijit, I'll let you take over.
So I've got close up of all these that I'm showing you. So I will, Mohan already has it on WhatsApp. So at the end, you all can share it with the audience of all the pandals that I'm showing you right now, all the close-up shots I have. But here's another Pandal Puja, which is celebrating its 73rd Pandal Puja. So it's quite a few years old, and the theme of this puja for this year, it's simple, but not as simple as it sounds. It's a geosymmetrical replica of the first Durga Puja that was ever done by King Raja Kangsha Narayan in the Rajshahi district of Bangladesh around 415 years back. That is more than 4 centuries ago. And of course, that time, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, it was all the same. And in fact, Bangladesh and West Bengal was Bengal, the Bengal province, as it was called by the British later on. So he was the first to actually, in a big way, celebrate Durga Puja. This was more than 4 centuries back. So what this club has done is a geosymmetrical replica of that puja more than 4 centuries back. Again, you will get a, Ashish Mohan will share the close-up with the audience at the end, which I've already shared with Mohan. So, and because we've got limited time, I am going to move on from here, and I'm going to move on, keep moving, because I believe we don't have much time, and also Shubhankar also may have more things to say. So while, if you can just give me 1 more minute while I keep moving and walking, is that while you were in Mumbai, the audience was in Mumbai in the last 5 minutes before this, I was going through some street food, and I always believe it's not that I'm being partial, but I believe that, I've seen so many magazines give Mumbai or Delhi one of the top 10 or top 20 cities on street food in the world or in Asia. But Calcutta has never been listed. And I've always been scratching my head as to why is that the case? Because I can confidently tell you that if you come on a street food tour in Calcutta, you would rate it at least one of the top 10 in Asia. And so it has to be right up there. At least that's what I personally feel. But anyways, I understand we are running short of time, so I'm going to keep moving. And if
Abhijit,
Shubhankar,
I suggest that you go and park yourself near the street food, and we'll come back to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing is, Ashish Mohan, I've moved on from the main road and I've come to the neighborhood. So I've come to the quieter parts because one of the clubs near my house has allowed me to show you the puja, the auspicious puja starting in 25 minutes from the now. So I've crossed that right now.
Oh, fantastic. No problem. No problem. Well, I'll tell you what, while you're walking over there, I'm going to switch back over to Subhankarji while you're walking over there, so we can talk a bit more about the ceremony itself, the puja itself. So Subhankarji, I'm back over to you, and we'll have you showcase, just talk a bit more about the puja itself. So I'll just have you, and then
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you great.
Yeah, see, you can only see the inside of the family altar, but if you can give the video to this phone also, I can show you the outside of the house, because these are two beautiful, we are in a very, very beautiful house, and I'm sure the audience would love to see this beautiful structure of the house.
Yeah, I just sent you a request to open the video there.
Okay, so you can see that. Look at the house here. Now it looks empty. In another 20 minutes time, it will be filled up by the old beautiful women with their beautiful dresses, and the balconies will be also let some other people come in. And it is a very, very typical household. We haven't been able to visit majority of the houses because of the pandemic, but this Mr. Chandra family has kindly let us in, and therefore we are able to show you this beautiful house all over. And you can see that the Durga Puja is celebrated in this house for over 250 years. And to add what Abhijit said about Raja Kangsha Narayan in about 400 years from today, we have seen actually Durga Puja is a very interesting feature, not only in Bengali life, but in the national life as well. Because you see, when you talk about Indian gods and goddesses, we talk about the Holy Trinity. You never talk about the female divinity. You never talk about a god who talks about the goddesses. In most of the places, you can see God is a subordinate, goddess is a subordinate to the god. But here you see, very close, that Shiva is sitting and on his lap is Mother Goddess Durga. Can you see that?
Yeah, very much. We can see it very clearly.
Look at that. Look at that. And you see there Ganesh, and this is an interesting feature here. You see, can you figure out what this is? You can see a plantain leaf out. Now we call it kalabo. Kala is a banana. It's a banana plant which is wrapped with a sari. And inside it, there are 9 herbs. These 9 herbs are celebrated in the 9 nights. That's why the festival is also called Navaratri. And these 9 herbs represent the 9 qualities a human being must possess to fulfill his achievement in this life. And Durga is a form of the goddess which the Bengalis, not only Bengalis, but the entire country of India thinks that she cannot be deified because she is too big, too inexplicable to have an image. And this is why you see here this little pot, and it has an earthen pot filled up with the Ganges water, and then on the top of that is a coconut placed on it. All around are scattered the lotus flowers, and this one is a conch shell filled with water. And these are all the things that will be actually forming the part of the goddess. Then why there is an image? There are fantastic stories. If we have time, we could go on telling the stories. But the one which makes very interesting feature about Durga is that it is celebrated in 9 days, 9 nights and 10 days. 9 nights, Durga takes 9 forms and destroys or kills 9 devils. And the last day, that is the day after tomorrow, we celebrate as Dasera or Vijaya Dashami, which is the victory. Now, why Durga has to do all this fight and not Shiva, Brahma or Vishnu? It is a very interesting story, and I'm going to tell you in very short that what the 3 gods could not do, one goddess did it. And this is where the Bengali philosophy comes in, where here there's a belief that the father is a belief, and mother is truth. You see, the oldest manifestation of divinity you found in Indian subcontinent is in the Indus Valley civilization, where you found the mother goddess or in the form of a fertility imagery. Later on, this imagery was worshipped in the form of female manifestation of or personification of the image. After all, when the Brahmanism took over, then they tried to negotiate between these female divinities or the worshippers of the female divinities, and we call them the mother worship, in other words called Shakta. So they wanted to make a negotiation, and therefore the gods are married off to this female. Go through the history, you will find Durga predates Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, because the word Durga itself comes from the word Durga, which is
live TV again. As I told you guys, live TV, so things cut in and out with live TV. So while Subhankarji is explaining this, we'll come back to him when he's able to. Subhankarji, can you hear us again now?
Now the priest has just come and they are preparing for it, so I can come back in maybe another 10 minutes time.
Perfect. We'll come back. So as you guys can see, it's getting closer to 11 o'clock, you know, and getting later at night. And you can see that there's more preparations being done. So now let's come back to Harsh. Harsh, you're somewhere special right now in Mumbai. So let's come back to you and you can share what you're looking at right now.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Okay. So right now we're standing in front of a place which is Flora Fountain, or the goddess Flora, the Greek goddess of Flora, right in front of you. And this is a very interesting place because I told you Bombay used to be a fortified city. So, you know, back then, before 1864, if I had to stand where I'm standing right now, there would be a big gate in front of me and I wouldn't be allowed to enter, right? But when this was broken down, this wall, right, this gave birth to a city that we see today, which was actually started by a gentleman named Sir Bartle Frere. And this fountain that you see was called the Frere Fountain, but we call it Flora because she's the Greek goddess right here. Now, this was not originally supposed to be here. It was supposed to be at the zoo. However, you know, it was moved here and you can see how beautiful, you know, this is. This is one of the structures that is lit, right? But here used to be one of the 3 gates that you could enter into Mumbai. So if you wanted to enter Mumbai back then, you wouldn't be able to enter because of the fortified city. And primarily inside it were a lot of British as well as Parsi as well as Bori traders, right? And the outsiders, or, you know, the native town was outside the precinct of it. So this side would have been the complete native town here, but and the other side. Out here, it was completely water, right? But I want to show you something very interesting, and it probably still exists in Kolkata and it doesn't exist in Mumbai anymore, is the tram lines. That still, can you see that right here? Right, these are the tram lines that used to exist in Mumbai at one point of time. So these lines that you see talk about the Mumbai Tram, and the Mumbai Tram used to be horse trams. They started in 1864 as horse trams, as horse carriers, right? And by 1907, they actually got electric trams. At that time, these lines used to go all the way from here till about 12 kilometers from here to a place called Paiduni. So when you would actually come here, it would be horse carrier, but 1907, they went electric, right? So this is the place. And if you wanted to enter Mumbai, this would be the place where you would enter Mumbai at one point of time, and the sea was right in front of you, right? So that is what I wanted to show you guys here, because this is one of the other places that lit and it's quite beautiful. And it's a great photo opportunity for a lot of people and couples who come here for a walk at night.
That's amazing. I mean, just looking around that's absolutely amazing in terms of what you're seeing. And again, look how late it is. The city is still buzzing. It's amazing that it's still buzzing. It's still there. So,
yeah. So Mumbai is on. You know, it's a city that never sleeps. In fact, you know, we do a tour called Mumbai by Dawn, where the city doesn't sleep. Right? You have people who are getting up to start work, and then you have the younger people who are coming there after finishing a late night of partying. So you see both set of people at you know, 4:30 in the morning. So this is a city that's completely always, you know, there's something or the other that's always going on in Mumbai.
Sounds like university. Sounds like,
yeah, sounds like university.
Ashish, can I come in for a second?
Yeah, go ahead, Mohan. Go ahead.
Harsh, I think we might have created a perfect recipe for a Mumbai by night tour now. Okay. Why wake up people at 5 a.m. when you can do it?
Yeah, maybe we make it really like university and just don't make them sleep through the night. I think that might be a lot more fun. So you can start with Mumbai by night and continue through Mumbai by dawn, right?
Even
and let them sleep
throw
through
in a mathematics exam too. That'll be great.
Anyways, I'm gonna get onto my bike and go to the next location, guys.
Perfect.
So I'll see you guys soon.
And I know Abhijit, you're walking somewhere soon. So by the way, before Harsh goes,
I just wanna come in, Abhijit, as much as you think, you know, you said Kolkata needs to be there within the street food destinations. I do agree, but Bombay definitely gets #1 there.
Nice. So now we have now at this point we have a competition going on. So I want you guys watching right now to take a look. This is Harsh has been actually being so gracious. He's been going around town on his scooter. So you've got Rahul taking him around town. So that part is there. So now we're there. So Abhijit, back over to you. Let's talk about what you're looking at here. I know you were doing some walking as well, so you're probably huffing and puffing a little bit, but I'll come back over to you. And you can share something about what you are. Just have to have you unmute, Abhijit.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, yeah, I'm just walking to the last place. Basically, while Shubhankar and Harsh were there in North Calcutta and Mumbai, I think my video was showing you two places. One is a house puja with 8 pillars, and the other, of course, just next around the corner. That's also Shubhankar is in North Calcutta right now, and that is one of the oldest pujas in the city and in North Calcutta. The ones I was showing you just before this, till I've been walking, is one of the oldest pujas in South Calcutta and in Calcutta itself. So that was the last bit that I've showed you. Now I'm just going to walk in the next 10 minutes to the last place where they are going to do this auspicious Shondi Puja in the next 12 minutes. So I'm going to go there. Yes.
Ashish?
Yeah, go ahead, Mohan.
Do you think that you can give me the screen sharing while our friends are walking around? Maybe I can screen share and show the pictures that
Yeah, sure. By all means. Let's you should be able to do it. Go ahead and try. You should be able to do it.
Just another puja here. I'm going to keep moving.
No, it's okay. Mohan, we'll share it afterwards. Don't worry. We'll share it afterwards.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So, Avijit, you're showing the other puja as well, but and we'll show the pictures afterwards as well. But as you're walking, tell us about is it hot? Is it cold? What's the temperature like where you are right now? Especially
it's humid. It's humid. I'm sweating like a pig. It's humid.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, it's very, very humid because we are not far from the sea. South Calcutta right now, where I am in, we are just about 2 hours drive from the sea. So it is very, very humid here. But yes, early mornings are a little pleasant, but I think Calcutta does not experience any winter till we reach mid-November or end of November.
So Avijit, something that we should talk about is the food. What kind of typical food, so we can tell the listener, the viewers, those on YouTube, those on Zoom, can we tell them what's typical of the food during these days? Now we have Navratri at home as well, so we have the food at home as well. But I know in Kolkata, I'd love to hear from you just what specific type of food.
I think Calcutta is a gourmet of food in terms of a destination because it's there's so many ghetto communities here. There's the Anglo-Indians, there's the Chinese, there's just so many. Of course, the Bengali community is the dominant community for most parts, but then we have the Marwaris, and so if you talk about the Bengali community, then of course we've got the Bengali dishes, we've got veg and non-veg, a lot of kinds of fish. And yes, we've got an array of fish dishes because we are close to the sea. We have freshwater, saltwater, as well as brackish water fish. So there's a lot of fish variety that we have here. And of course, here's another. Just a second, I'm just going to show the puja up close. Right, I'm going to keep moving.
Avijit, while you're walking,
Yes,
I'd like to add a little bit about the food.
Yes, please go ahead.
So, I mean, Ashish, since you asked, Bengalis are very high on taking sugar, so they eat a lot of sweets. And I think Bengali sweets are some of the best sweets in the country.
I think every Indian likes sweets.
And one of the most famous sweets is, of course, the Rasgulla, or the but then there are so many varieties of it, and there's so many other different sweets that you eat. And this time of the year, particularly when you're traveling, it's a feast. It's a real feast for kind of eating street food and all these wonderful sweets.
The other thing I want to add to Mohan is the other thing I want to say. It's not just Bengali food, because I was saying there's so many cultures. So we've got some great Mughal food as well. Calcutta biryani has its own version of biryani with a nice spiced up potato amidst the meat. So, and it's got an old spices, so it's got its own version of biryani. But also the other thing is, because Calcutta is so close to the northeast and the neighboring countries of China, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, it's also got a lot of really good Indo-Chinese food. In fact, I can hands up, and I mean it's not an open challenge, but it's more about telling people of Big Five and Travel Scope, look, come to Calcutta and try the food. At least the Indo-Chinese is definitely best in the country. That's one thing I can say. Then whether it's better than Mumbai or Delhi overall, that's up to the travelers. You know, so
Can,
it's another puja
can,
here.
can I add something here?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Subhankaji, please go ahead.
Yeah, as food is taught, is talking about food, you know, these 4 days of the festival, we have 4 very elaborate recipes that is followed in the traditional houses. And that must be observed very meticulously. Because, you see, the houses, they are gathered during these festivities, no matter where they live, in the US or UK or wherever in the country, they come back to this to celebrate these 4 days. And in these 4 days, they very meticulously choose from the breakfast till the dinner. The breakfast in the first day should be always luchi, which the North Indians, the other people call puri, which is a puffed bread of deep oil fried. And that must comes with a kind of a chickpeas lentils or dal. And then during the lunch on the first day will be completely vegetarian food. Not many people know about Bengal being vegetarian delights. The vegetable delicacies of Bengal are really something which not many people know about. And as Avijit was just talking about the fusion foods, there is a very interesting delicacy of Bengal and the fusion food is a Myanmarese fusion of drolma. Drolma of parwal, which is a very typical tropical vegetable, which is stuffed and then it is deep fried. It can be stuffed with cheese or with paneer or with chicken, mutton or prawns, whatever you want. But on the Saptami day, that is the 7th day, you have to be vegetarian. So it is normally stuffed with paneer. And then comes the lunchtime. During the lunchtime, you should have 3 different kinds of rice. The first rice is a plain basmati rice with ghee. The second rice is a normal rice to eat the vegetable curries and all. And the third rice is a sweet rice, which is flavored with, kesar or saffron. Then on the 8th day, there is, in some houses, not this house where we are sitting, some houses observe Bali, which is a sacrifice of animals. And this is the very interesting feature of Bengali life. Nowhere in India, you will see Brahmins eating meat. But in Bengal, on these days, today was the day, the 8th day, they sacrifice a goat. And that goat meat is distributed among the people. And that becomes like a prasad, a blessed food. So this is the Ashtami food. And in the Navami food, during the daytime, you should again have some kind of a paratha or luchi, which is the puffed bread. And then that comes with a choice of vegetarian, non-vegetarian, about 3 or 4 course meal. And each meal has its own theme, which starts with a bitter taste and slowly moves towards the sweet. So the first delicacy that is given to you is called shukto, which is a mixed vegetable with bitter gourd. And this is called a kind of an appetizer, you can say. And then it comes with some lentils. We have more than 100 varieties of lentils all over India, and Bengal also consumes almost all varieties of lentils available in India. Then comes a kind of mixed vegetable, which is very spicy. And juicy at the same time. Then comes a palate, refresher, which like a little bit of tamarind sauce or with citron, something like a chutney, not pickle, but a sweeter chutney. And then comes the legendary doi. Mohanji was talking about the Bengali food, but it's one thing that even the Mumbaikars would run for is a Bengali mishti doi. I remember the famous singer Lata Mangeshkar used to have her share of dahi sent from a particular shop in Kolkata every day to her house. So this is a kind of a legend of yogurt. We call doi, but it is a kind of a yogurt which is sweetened. And then comes choice of sweets like rasgullas and payesh is another sweet rice, but which is sweet rice cooked with milk. And so this is a kind of a food variety, only Bengali food. Besides, Abhijit told already that we have a huge number of Chinese residents, and they made not only Chinese food, but also fusion Chinese food to cater. Then there are Jewish people in Calcutta, so you have Jewish delicacies. Then you have Parsi people. The Parsi delicacies are also available now in a Parsi. One gentleman has started a shop to sell you Parsi food, and you can also obviously have lunch on with the Anglo-Indian groups in the Anglo-Indian community. So the food-wise, Kolkata can have more than 10 different culinary tours, and each culinary tour will emphasize on different aspects and different tastes and different style of food. Not only the cooking style, but also the presentation will be different. So now, as I think Abhijit must have come to the next destination, and I can see the ladies have started coming into this house. So I'll take it over to Abhijit, and we'll come back maybe another 5 minutes.
So we're at an auspicious time now, where thank for those of you who
Yes, I can see the priests are preparing. So maybe another 2 minutes, we'll be going inside.
Yeah, that's perfect. So we'll come, Subhankaji will come back to you. So we have, we're going to come back to Abhijit in a second. I know he's still going somewhere. So in terms as well. So we're going to come back to it. But those of you who were with us, please, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for getting us, we're getting close to the end of our stream now. We want to show you, these ceremonies can only start at a certain time. So we're actually very close to that part right now. As Subhankaji was saying, they were just preparing. We'll go from there. So Mohan, any words I can that I can bring you in on while we wait for Abhijit to get into location?
No, I wanted to say that even Christmas time is great in Calcutta. Actually, it's a very different feel during Christmas in Calcutta. And I was there last year around Christmas, and it's really very. I mean, the weather is great actually. Right now it's very humid, but the weather during Christmas time is great. And another reason to kind of come to Calcutta and see a very different side of different experience. And I think we should go to maybe Harsh to his last stop. And then before we come to Abhijit and finally back to Shubham.
Yeah, let's do it. And I have to tell you, so you're spot on. So my aunt lives in Calcutta, and so I have to tell you, out of all the places in the world, the closest shave I ever got, razor shave, is still in Calcutta out of any place in the world.
And it's the only place in the world, I think, where Santa Claus comes in a chariot.
That's right. That's right.
It is true. It is true. It is true.
That's right. That's right. So, okay. So Abhijit, sorry, not Harsh. I'm sorry, Harsh, over to you. Did we just, over to you? We'll just unmute and have you take over, and then we'll come. So go ahead.
Hi. Yeah. So right now, what you can see, I'm right now standing at, I was sitting down leisurely, but and if you're in Mumbai and want to spend some time leisurely, you'd come to an area like this. This is called, Marine Drive, right? And Marine Drive is actually called the Queen's Necklace. The reason is that if you look at this, right, if you had to take a bird's eye view right, of this, it would actually look like a semicircular necklace where you can see right behind you, this entire thing is like a semicircular necklace, right? So this is called the Queen's Necklace. This is called Marine Drive. It's a place for lovers. It's a place for, thinkers. You'd see a lot of people sitting down, and that's one of the beautiful, spaces that you see where, Bombay is one of the places where you can actually see intimacy in public, right? And people will just go past without telling you anything. It's just because there's a lack of space. And if you want to see that intimacy, you basically see it at, Marine Drive. There's a beautiful, a page, it's called Agents of Ish, that talks about, the beauty of Bombay and the beauty of the fact that how, couples can sit here and, because of the lack of place, people understand. And that's where, you can probably take a little kiss or, have an intimate moment at Marine Drive. But another interesting and historic part about Marine Drive is the fact that it's got the second highest number of Art Deco buildings after Miami. So a lot of people call this actually the Miami Boulevard. Right at the end of it, where you see is the Trident and the Oberoi Hotel, right? And on this side here, you actually have the governor's bungalow, right? Right at the corner, you can see the lights there. That's the governor's bungalow. So it's quite a beautiful little area that I'm standing in. And this actually marks the end of the Marine Drive that comes all the way starting right at the end there and going all the way coming here. So it's a beautiful promenade. It's a great place for a morning walk or a jog. And, a lot of people, if you want to see and come, if you're staying at the Oberoi, then this becomes a great place for a morning jog, right? On that note, I'd like to pass on over to the next speaker.
So, Harsh, we're going to end the stream with the pujas that are happening both in Kolkata, the two locations that are there. So what we'll do is, in order to not disturb the ceremony at all, the pujas at all, Harsh, I want to say thank you, first of all, for the time. Absolutely amazing showing Mumbai. And I'll, Mohan, any final words for you before we go over to the stream, and we can and what we'll do is we'll stay with the stream for 10 minutes and then we'll simply just end the stream there. So if you have any final words, Mohan, let's go ahead and
I also like to thank Harsh really for doing this amazing presentation of Mumbai through his own eyes, and and also thank Rahul for chaperoning you from one place to the other.
Yeah, 100%.
Rahul is the main man. I am actually chaperoning him. He's the main man. He's the one who's getting all these logistics sorted at the back end.
Harsh, if you want, you can stay back, or if you want, it's up to you totally. I know it's late for you. So yeah, and I'll talk to you, in a couple of days. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us. Thank you, Mohan. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you all of you all for giving us the opportunity, and thank you, Rahul, for taking me around. Cheers. Bye-bye, guys.
Perfect. Thanks again. So we're going to end the stream. Those of you sticking with us, thanks for sticking with us. We're going to actually go over now to Avijit and Subankarji. I see Subankarji, the ceremony, the puja is just starting there. So Subankarji, if we can actually have you unmute and have you explain what we're seeing, that will be fantastic.
Now you can see that the two priests have taken. One is doing from the book, and the other one is doing the rituals. This is a very special tantric ritual, and in this way they're invoking the spirit of the mother. And because here is preparing for the final assault on the Mahishasura. The 9 demons I already spoke about are to be slayed before you achieve that moksha or the final liberation, and that can only be done by the mother. So you can hear I am trying to speak as a low voice as possible because the people are listening to the priest, and you can see here the ladies of the house, and they are doing they're attentively listening to.
We're losing your signal, Subankarji. We're losing your signal again.
See that?
There we go.
The ladies are there with a bowl of plates of rice, and on the rice there is a sweet thing on the top, which is called the spree, and then it has split into 5 and 4, making it a 9 altogether. And then we are going into the area, and you can see here is this holy scripture, and he's reading from the holy scripture. It's called the Chandi. There are 108 lotus which has to be offered to the mother goddess, and there is the main pot, and there is the family deity inside. Now I have quickly gone outside, and you can keep seeing on my other camera. You can see the puja from the other camera, because if I have to speak inside the priest, that will actually disturb the priest. And so I am focusing on the participants here and the family members. And here you can see that I was talking about this auspicious day. Why it is so auspicious? Why it has to be in the middle of the night? It is generally not the middle of the night. It depends on the positional star position. This year it is in the middle of the night. It is actually the conjuncture of the Ashtami and Navami, these two, we call it Tithi, or the two different timing. Now, as I say, that the 9 nights, each night the goddess had to slay one demon. And these demons are actually restricting our liberation, because they are closing the 9 doors. In the tantric system, it is said that in the tantric system, they say that there are 9 doors you have to cross before liberation. And if you have to cross that 9 door, you have to pass through these 9 demons who are protecting these doors. Now, these demons had a very special blessings, because they were originally blessed by the gods. So they could not be killed by gods. And this is why the goddess had to come. This goddess is actually the form of what we call is the supreme Mahamaya. As I have already told you, that the philosophical belief here is that father is the belief and mother is the truth. And the truth is the last one that you have to face. In the Buddhism, they say that the last truth is that one has to be born and has to die. And in between, the life. So that life continues through these 9 doors, and these 9 doors are protected by the 9 demons who are being slain by Mother Goddess. And on this juncture, the last of the demon, that is the Mahishasura, who represents the ego. And when you sacrifice this ego, you sacrifice Mahisha within you, the buffalo within you, you become a free man. You become beyond all sufferings, and then you liberate yourself. So you come out, one comes out of the mother's womb and goes back and assimilates into mother. And this is why mother worshipping has become very, very important in most part of the world. If you see the ancient culture, everywhere, originally it started with the matriarchal society and there was mother worshippers, but soon as the male domination started and male divine forces come in, the female deities become subordinate, but not in this case. In our case, this female divinity is given superior position, as when all the male divine authorities failed, then they invoke the spirit of the mother, and mother comes to the final rescue. Now this night, we cannot see this happening here because it is all philosophical, and in some houses they do use some spectacular ways to present this, but it is said that this night, at the time of Sandhi Puja, mother takes the form of Chamunda. You know, in the different parts of India, you have seen some Shakti temples where the female divinities are placed normally at the outskirts of the temple or on the temple walls. And they are very repeating stories of Saptamatrika, the 7 mothers. It's a very cult figure. If you ask anybody anywhere in India, they know who this Saptamatrika was. But very few people actually know about the Navamatrika. And Navadurga is the Navamatrika. Here, all the 7 matrikas, Sapta matrikas are present, and on additional 2 is Durga and Chamunda. So tonight, the priests are invoking the spirit of Chamunda. In this spirit, in this form, Mother will actually slay 2 demons, Chanda and Munda, to become the ferocious mother. And then finally, she will take over Mahishasura. And all the pandals that you have seen the Mahishasura is a demon, comes out of the buffalo and being killed by Mother. So I think this is all about this Sandhi Puja, and then I'll take you closer to the puja once again before we conclude. Over to Ashish.
Subhanji, thank you so much for your time. Abhijit, thank you for your time as well. Yes, Bridget, and thank you everybody for joining us today on celebration.
Subhankar Dada, if you could just move out a little bit from the puja because we can't hear Ashish.
Okay.
That's okay. So all taken care of. We'll leave the streaming running there. But with that, I wanted to just make sure I said thank you to everybody again for joining us. Mohan, thank you for your time as well. Somesh, thank you for your time as well. Subhankarji, Harsh is not here anymore, but thank you for your time. And Abhijit, thank you for your time as well. I wish you all a very happy Navratri for the ending as well. And Lee, of course, our master of ceremonies, thank you for all the help to get this done. This was a very special stream. This was one of our longest streams we've ever done. This was one that we've been waiting 15 months to do. So if we ran a bit long, I apologize for the exuberance, but we've been waiting 15 months for this stream. So we'll be doing more of these to showcase India for you as well. And I think, you know, when you heard Abhijit talk about India being more of a continent than a country, he nailed it. You know, we did this stream because as the world's opening up and Asia is opening up, everything centers on India and goes out from there. So with that, I bid everybody a thank you, a good afternoon and a good evening as well.
Thank you, Ashish. And I would like to thank the Chandra family for allowing us to come into their home and stream the puja as well. So Shubhankar, please give a personal thanks to them from all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you again. Goodbye, everybody.